All right, I wanted to make a recording. There we go. Took a minute for this to start. All right, I apologize for that delay. Uh, we are looking at the call manager in Vancouver, and the question was, how did I forward calls from the gateway in Calgary through Vancouver out to the Skype for Business servers? So let's log in to the call manager. And let's go take a look at that directory number that I worked on the first one. So you go into call routing, go to directory number. Let's just do a find on all of them because I don't remember exactly. Oh, there it is. You can tell it's discolored. 1144 was from Mike Johnston. So I went into Mike Johnston's profile or directory number and I saw that everything's associated properly um, for Mike Johnston. And the description is for Skype for Business. He's in the right calling search space, but you don't want to restrict it. You basically want to send the call from call manager um, over to Skype for Business. Um, but even if it's an international call or a long distance call, you want all the digits to be sent. So you can't restrict it from the call manager to go for Skype for Business. Do you have to put in this calling search space, which will allow you to send all the digits, no matter what they are, onto the Skype for Business server. So you can see that portrayed. And then I found out by looking at his profile, he sent me a screenshot of it, that 6-digit dial is working. And this is his 6-digit dial number in Skype for Business. We're not configured that way in Atlanta, but up in Canada, they are configured that way. So his 6-digit extension is 323744. And if I go here to translation patterns, I can see that there's a translation pattern that fits that pattern, that 6-digit pattern. And sure enough, I'm going to not remember what his number is, but there is a pattern for 6 digits to be accepted. Here it is. These 6-digit patterns are here. Um, there's one for 924, 916. So if it sees anything with those prefixes, it allows it to go through the call manager. Let's see if I can find another 6-digit pattern. I only see the two. So that means it has to be one of these two, this one or this one. Those are the only ones that are allowed to call manager. So let's go back and look at his directory number again. Let's take a note of that. Let's see a little snip of that so we can see what those numbers are. There's the only two that I see. So we'll set that over here to the side. Let's go over to his directory number again. We'll go to 1144 and we'll see that he's 323744. But it doesn't really make much sense why that would be allowed, because it will allow 9 to get an outside line, 1 for long distance, and then the first digit would be 62. So I wasn't sure if 6-digit would be allowed. The way we get to see this, let me pause this and go find that. All right, I'm going to resume the recording. So this is just an example. This isn't the same directory number, um, but this is just an example so you can see what I looked at. And I corrected another user right after I finished with Mike Johnston. And when he went into his call forwarding properties in Skype for Business, it specified that he had this number, but it also, which is the main number for Calgary, that's the receptionist number, but it also specified his extension 325312. So that's how I knew, oh, he's got a 6-digit number, so I can forward to that 6-digit number from the call manager over to a Skype for Business number. All right, so then I thought in theory that should work. All right, so then I got rid of that and I configured a Cisco soft phone to register to the call manager in Vancouver, and I set up an extension for myself. Before I was doing that, I set my extension to 1144, and I was able to register like Mike Johnston, and then I could forward all my calls to this number. And so when I would dial extension 1144, it would ring through to Mike Johnson at extension 323744. Anything that you put in this field, and this is tricky, most people just put checks in these boxes. But if you put checks in these boxes, they send all the calls to voicemail. If you don't put a check in any of these boxes, it forwards the call to whatever number you specify. And if the gateway allows calls internally to go to six-digit extensions without some kind of forced authorization code, um, as long as you're in an internal partition, route partition, it knows that you're inside. So you don't have to have a forced authorization code to make a long distance number or to dial six digit. It thinks that you just want to send those six digits internally to another server. So it allows it. It doesn't require any authorization. So it sends that over to that six digit. Um, and I configured this soft phone to be extension 1144, like I said. And when I called 1144, I was able to get the calls to forward to 323744, and Mike Johnson answered. Um, he also, it was either this user or the next user had these checks in these boxes to go to the voicemail on Call Manager. Well, they had no way of accessing that voicemail because they're all in Skype for Business. And there's probably quite a few users up in Canada that are set up that way. Let me go to a minimal view. So they probably need to be set up in this same fashion. Now, the problem with the way they were configured before is it's very complicated. The way that these users were configured before were as remote destinations. So let me show you an example of that. These are really for people that have cell phones. Because there is a function of the call manager to use mobility. So it will ring your desk phone a certain amount of times, and after it's done ringing your desk phone, say for 15 seconds, it will continue to ring your desk phone, but it will also ring out to a remote destination, such as a cell phone. All right, so that way it gives you an opportunity to still get your calls even though you're remote. With mobility, you have the option to answer the call on your cell phone, and when you come back into the office, you can hang up your cell phone and you'll see that one of these buttons where that call resides is still lit up because this phone is still forwarding out to your cell phone. So if you can think of it as creating one call leg from the call manager to this phone and another call leg to to forward from this phone out to your cell phone, you actually have two call legs established. So when you hang up your cell phone, you're actually killing one call leg, but the phone call will still reside here. So with mobility, you can come in and just click this button and you can resume your call without any delay and continue your conversation as you walk in the office. Um, Likewise, if you decide that it's 5:30, I've got to go pick up my kids and I'm still in this conference call, you can use mobility to transfer the call, not really transfer the call, but you enable mobility on this phone and it allows you to pick up the call on your cell phone as soon as you hit that button because it calls and connects that call I got to your cell phone and allows you to continue the call as you're driving home on that same call without having to call back into the conference and log in again and be added to the conference again. It continues the same call, so it's quite handy. But that's how I was able to test it. That's how I got it configured. I have the software available if anybody else needs it to implement that on your laptop so that you can connect back to the call manager and make test calls through it for the future. So that's pretty much it. Uh, Call me if you have any questions. This is Rob Castillo in Atlanta. Thanks a lot.